I'm a ragtime gal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My next show is at 4. Eat the veal. Hello, everybody. This is the... what episode is this? 21 of the...
We're
Crafty
legal.
Boys. We're legal now. We can drink in any country on the planet. So I'd like to introduce myself. I am Shane, and I'm going to go to the Vancouver Island because I'm in Vancouver. But on the island, there are a couple of people. Who are you?
Hey, I'm me. I'm Alan. I'm in Victoria.
I'm Dave. I'm in Comox Valley.
And Locke, of course.
And back here, on the mainland is, me, Locke Fulton. Hey, hey.
Right on. Thank you, Alan.
They're working for me again.
Yeah, well, I don't know why they didn't work before, but
I don't know.
So anyway, hi boys. It's been a week. How have you guys all been? I noticed the one thing, the first talking point of the evening has to be Dave lost his hair, and I don't know where it went. Dude, what's going on there?
This is what is typically known as the cheap bastard.
The cheap bastard.
Cheap bastard.
So basically,
No.
This happens once or twice a year.
So what? You put a bowl on your head and just kind of like...
and you let your mom do it?
No.
No. Oh, well, right
Really
then.
not.
All right.
So basically, it's
Is it haircut in a box?
What? I've never heard of that. What's that?
A pair of clippers? Set of clippers?
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
That's what I do.
Pretty much.
Me too.
I don't do
Because-
it myself. I actually go into a hair cutting place.
Really? Okay.
What?
and they did that to you, that butchery. What's going on? I mean, right now, I gotta say, I'm feeling really good about my hair.
Yeah, you should.
I'm
Jerk.
talking 3 dudes that look like they're totally going, bald in all ways, shape, and form. And I gotta say,
Went bald.
went bald. I'm sorry.
Look
Sorry,
at all
Dave.
this blind. Look at it. I mean, you could go blind.
I don't know, Shane. I think you're kind of just the odd man out here,
Well, I know, but look at this lush. I mean, I've got it, cut short right now, but this lush, long locks. My left row. I mean, I'll even show you the crown here. Look at that lush hair. There's no bald spot for it. So I'm just watch this next week. I'll be like totally bald. Like karma will catch up with me and bitch slap me right in my scalp. So yeah.
Okay, here's the plan. When we all go to beer
Wait.
and Shane gets totally wasted, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for him to pass out, and then we're gonna shave him completely bald, and see how he likes
This is
that.
how cool I am with my long wavy hair. This is how I roll. So boys, rub your heads right now because I'll feel it. Or something. So
Dude, you got nothing on me.
I know totally. I mean, it's pretty brutal. Okay, so hey, we got a beer this week that we all have been able to get. This is
Yay.
it's been available
It
everywhere.
amazed
There's
me.
been no issues. So let's all hold up our bottles, unless Locke, you've already drunk yours. Here it is. This is the Parallel 49 Corn Hops. It is the Imperial Corn IPA. So, I am going to now open mine because I got to say, actually, I got to point this out. I thought this was very, very cute. It's not going to focus on the bottle that well, but it says "Ladies and Gentlemen" on the label. The corn.
Oh, all their labels do.
Do they? Oh, this is the only one I've noticed.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, what I find interesting is this corn hops. Is that kind of to be like like corn pops, like the cereal? Is that sort of like a play on that?
Maybe.
My pour.
I could go with that because I was kind of wondering about that myself. I figured it had to be a play on something.
I gotta tell you, I kind of think the beer's a better idea than the label, but
Right. I usually really dig Parallel 49's labels and artwork and stuff, but this one's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, it's all in the beer, right? One thing I did note before we went live is that this beer is 8.2%, which means it's going to be a very good show. So
Check
settle in.
this out.
We're going to be here a
Check that
while.
Look at that. Look at that right there. Right
All
there.
right,
That.
all right. I'm
Oh
doing
my
one
lord,
more.
look at that. Oh my
Look,
god, that's
look.
amazing. Look at the
Look at
head.
that.
Look at the head. Look at that head. That is head. How could that be a wrong beer? And you're right, this actually has I can tell right away.
Golden hued.
There's a few floaters in here. Have you guys have seen the floaters as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very unfiltered. Now you would think they would advertise that.
Do they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like that's kind of like an in thing in beers is to have it being unfiltered.
It says strong beer brewed in.
Yeah, no, nowhere do they say unfiltered. They could.
Pilsner malt, flaked corn, Chinook. Chinook? What's that?
Chinook hops?
It's fish.
Is it? I was gonna say they throw some fish in here. We've been known to throw some puns around, and sometimes we've been downright corny. This beer is brewed using a healthy dose of corn and even healthier dose of hops, making for a light-bodied Imperial IPA. Gotta have my hops and my camera focus. So, boys.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. I actually don't. I mean, I know they made it using corn, but I don't really notice any kind of a difference in flavor or anything over, if they'd used, barley.
I don't know if I'm in total agreement there. It's a subtle difference to be sure, but to my taste buds, and maybe I'm fooling myself. Maybe this is a hallucination or something, but it tastes oddly enough more like a Pilsner than an IPA usually does. And when I say Pilsner, I mean like one of those Czech Pilsners, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good. I mean, I would definitely have this again. What's interesting, it is a bit sweeter. I will say that, and that's probably because of the sugar levels in the corn.
Yeah.
Sugar levels.
The sugar levels. Now, corn is typically what they use to make whiskey, isn't it?
Well, that'd be some whiskey. That'd be sour mash.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So like your bourbons and stuff,
Mhm.
like Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's interesting.
We should do a show with those.
All right, I'm doing my sip
Now
now.
you're talking about sour mash, that bourbon kind of thing. There's something lingering in there that makes me think a little bit of bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I'm not having a bad experience here. I'm having a really decent experience with a really bad camera setup, apparently.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm looking at the floor all of a sudden. There we go. Jeez, mother.
You look like you're in Minecraft.
Yeah.
I wish I was in Minecraft. I gotta say,
Wow.
I really, I
It's a
am
good
like,
one.
what is wrong with this beer? It's so incredibly yummy.
And it's got so much stuff floating around in it.
Yeah, that is the most notable thing outside of the flavor is that it does have some bits and bobs floating around in there.
I got sea monkeys in mine.
Yeah.
Do you remember sea monkeys? Like, did you ever really ever want to have them? I did at one point want to have them, but then I didn't quite understand what they were.
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
want- No, I didn't want to have them, but my kids all had them, and it was kind of, it was kind of interesting. I mean, they came to life and spawned babies, and then they died.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
How long did they last?
I think.
A couple weeks.
That's
I
it?
think.
Only a couple weeks? Hmm.
I think so. I mean, don't last a long time.
There might be a way to prolong their existence or to extend the number of generations you get out of a batch, but yeah, I mean, like I think you got to be a little bit of an expert on things like pH and what are they? The krill, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just krill.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever krill you got to make sure that they're getting the right diet and stuff. I don't know. Do krill like a lot of light?
I have no idea.
The only thing I know about
No
krill
idea.
is what I learned from the film Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Where they were like, "Oh, krill," and then all these flocks of krill ran by, going, "Run away!" And that's all I know. So, and then a whale came and like tried to eat them. So, I mean, I gotta say, I'm pretty limited on that end of things. Shane says, trying to sound incredibly knowledgeable about krill, but realizing, no, it's not going to happen. So,
Can you imagine?
What?
Can you imagine if you had like a whole bunch of like sea monkeys or something, and you tried to prolong them? So you gave them stuff to make them last a little bit longer, like I don't know, steroids or something, and they became like mutants, and they like broke out of mutant sea monkeys. Yes, and they break out of their little thing, their encapsulation, and they become superheroes.
Your film, it starts out sea monkeys, but then they suddenly become gremlins.
Yeah. But people get scared of them and they flush them down the toilet, so they live in the sewers where they become like martial arts experts.
Oh God,
the movie
that's so awful because
cannibalistic humanoid.
Chud, you mean? You're trying to do Chud?
I was thinking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Now the movie is Chud, right? Isn't it?
It's funny because I the other day I think Locke, were you here and I subjected you to this where we actually watched like the first 20 minutes of the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
Yeah,
it was bad. It was bad, and I don't quite understand the attraction to what's that girl's name?
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. I don't. She
gay?
Sure. Okay. She's sure. She's not hard in the eyes, but it was painful to listen to her talk because she is not the greatest.
The Turtles.
Well, that too, but she wasn't the greatest at emoting at all. She was phoning it in for that film. And granted, I've only seen the first Transformers movie, so maybe she is better at acting. Because Shane says this thinking, I don't know if Transformers is really a higher end film, but I'm just hoping that she has more talent than that, and I just have not seen a film with her doing that. So, granted, she got fired from a Transformers movie. How does that work?
She did. She said some bad things about the director, so the director fired her. The director was Michael Bay.
Wow, that's even worse. To get fired from a Michael Bay film, that has got to be, that's like the pinnacle of what you should not do in Hollywood. Badmouth Michael Bay, because apparently he has power to kill everybody. So
it doesn't seem to have done Kevin Smith any harm, but
that's true.
Huh?
I mean, Kevin Smith has done very well in Hollywood, even if he's
he was fired by Michael Bay.
That is sort of his career. Hollywood only needs one of those guys. 3 or 4 of them. No.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, Hollywood definitely has done him a lot of favors, and he's done Hollywood a lot of favors too. And just from what the only thing the most interesting interview I ever saw with Kevin Smith was actually on the Strombolopolis show last year, about a year ago, like last May. And he said a bunch of stuff that I'd already heard, in his Q&As and his talking, like the evenings with Kevin Smith. because he's done 4 or 5 of them now, and I've watched them all. And it was interesting because he said a few things that I heard already, but something he actually said is he talked at length about how he created the movie Tusk, where about a year and a bit ago, he was doing a podcast with his producer friend, Scott Mosier, and they were talking about this article that turned out to be fake, but it was like an ad supposedly put into a newspaper somewhere in the UK that was inviting somebody to come and live with them, but the rent-free. The only caveat was that the rent-free meant that they once per day had to, for I think an hour, had to dress up as a walrus. And they started making fun of this article during that podcast, and then if you ever watch or listen to it, they actually switch into this mode of talking about it in a half-serious kind of way. Like if you actually made a film about this little article, it's great. You should, if you guys haven't seen it, I would definitely check it out. I've forgotten the episode name. It's like 255 or something. But they talk about, they just kind of start talking in a serious manner about how this could actually become a film, and within 6-7 months, the film had been shot and was in the middle of being cut. So it was kind of interesting just to be able to, and he talked about that, and I always thought that it was so interesting just to have that happen in a podcast, that you were able to sort of experience what that whole process, at least from their perspective, and how it works.
I have to wonder, though, in this podcast, did at some point one of them mention seeing Human Centipede?
No, but Tusk is certain. Well, I guess it's kind of the same sort of idea. However, it takes place in Manitoba. It's actually the set for the film is in Canada, and it's all about Canadians and
Woo, Canada.
So because they thought it would be interesting to have something this twisted take place in Canada, not in the States, because it just adds a little more to it.
Yeah. But it takes place in Manitoba, so the twistedness is natural.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm not sure why he chose Manitoba, but in this Strombolopolis interview, he sort of talks about that, but also was talking about how people can create their own thing, and it's actually not that hard. Sure, there's the whole finding money to do something part, but there's ways around that where you love a script enough that you can get it done with very little involvement from funding, and there's some sort of things that you can actually do to work with that. But the thing was, he also talked about creating stuff and actually creating things like this podcast, because all this podcast really is us four talking about this stuff, which we love and we want to enjoy. And we like talking about it so much, and we like enjoying it so much. Like today, for example, our power went out in the middle of the day, like at 4:30 or so.
So you cracked one open.
So exactly. Well, here's the thing. We decided that, okay, the power is out. It's probably going to be out for like 5 minutes or so. Let's take the dogs outside so they can do their business. So we did that, but the power wasn't coming on. So we came back inside, put the dogs, in their beds, and kind of like, all right, so what are we going to do? But after we took them outside, we noticed that the gate to our underground parking was open. So usually when the power comes out, somebody in the building kind of stands there just to kind of watch the gate so that nobody's going in to steal cars or whatever. So we sat there, and there's this friend of mine that came over on the weekend and was happy enough to go out and buy a growler of IPA. So he's a really great guy. And so anyway, he only drank about a third of the growlers. So I took the growler outside, and Alice and I sat out there with a couple of people in our building and drank it. So, what can you do? And Dave called, and I talked to Dave briefly. The power came on for a little bit, then went off again. So, we had to deal with that. And, yeah, it made for a very interesting afternoon. So, Locke, I want to raise a corn hops to you, sir, for being able to provide us with a growler to survive our power outage today.
Good for you, Lockhart. And I'm impressed that you only drank a third of it.
And Red Truck actually had no power as well. So we thought for a little bit, well, maybe we'll go across the street, but they were like, no, we have no power, so get out. I was hoping they'd scream free beer, just to get rid of stock, that might not be cold enough for the evening, right? No such going. By the way, I want to have a shout out to our band for this evening. The music that you're going to hear leaving this episode is the album is called The Rebel Scum by a new band called the Scruffy Nerf Herders. So
nice.
Sorry, I just had an email pop up in front of my eyes here that's actually got a new T-shirt that I've tagged a T-shirt shop to tell me when there's Star Wars stuff, and there's a really great picture of actually I'll send you the link. It's great. So what else have you guys been doing this week? I mean, we've talked a lot about different things, but this week we haven't. Last week we didn't really talk about what we did. So I've had a power outage. It was very exciting. Dave, haven't talked to you in a week. What the hell have you been up to, man?
I'm working a lot these days, actually.
Selling
Really?
insurance.
I mean, it's good. It's good for the money, but yeah, life not so much. Don't get a chance to really see people or do my own thing very much. So yeah, it's just been pretty boring, really. Watching some tube. Yeah, exactly.
What boring things have you been doing? Like what job is this? Is this job number 1 or job number 2?
Well, neither of the jobs is really boring, but it just means when I do have a bit of time to myself, I don't really do anything exciting because I'm kind of tired and just want to unplug, right? So
True.
I just watched some tube or something. And having
It was
said
funny.
that, I didn't think that I would bother with this show because the trailers didn't grab me. This is Netflix. But
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the podcast. I was like, I was gonna bother with this show. I'm like, but it's ours.
fuck it.
What show are you talking about?
The show on Netflix is Sense8.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is the latest. And the trailers didn't grab me at all, so I was like, whatever, I don't think I'm going to be bothered. But a couple of 3 nights ago, I actually decided, hey, whatever, I'll just check out one episode, and of course, I got completely sucked in. And
I
I'm
have
already on
only
episode
watched the
3 or
first
4.
episode of Sense8. I have not really latched into it yet. But how many episodes are you in?
I'm in, what am I in, 3 or 4?
Does it get better than the first one?
Oh, jeez. You know what? I don't know.
No,
if
the
I'm
show
right guy
gets
to ask.
worse.
Because I got sucked in on the first go. So
Okay, all right.
I mean, yes, it gets better. I mean, you get more. Obviously, you get more in depth about what is going on with all the individuals, as well as what's going on with them as a group.
Okay.
Of the 8 of them. I mean, I don't want to go into too much. I don't want to do spoilery stuff, but it's pretty cool. And I guess did the Wachowskis do oh shit, what am I thinking of now? Neo and
Yeah, the guys. Yeah, these guys, the ones that do the show, are the ones behind
the Matrix. Did they do Matrix?
They did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Sense8 is thematically is a little bit the same kind of deal. Although, of course, being Netflix, they can get away with a little bit more, how shall we say, sexiness.
Okay. Always a good thing.
Sexiness.
Yeah. And different sexiness, too, I might add. Not your standard white bread, kind of stuff that they'll do on ABC. This is not PG. This is not for the kids.
Should we play word salad, or I'm going to be Prince here and go down to Alphabet Street. Are we talking BBW, BDSM,
Well, so far there's definitely plenty of LGBT kind of stuff. Um,
BLT.
yeah, like
A
seriously, there's
BLT? What? There's a BLT in the show?
It sounds like a really good sandwich.
Holy crap! I'm hungry now.
it has the potential to be actually. No, it's just I found it really interesting because I don't typically watch that kind of stuff. You know, you kind of have to go out of your way, don't you, to watch that kind of material. I find it doesn't tend to happen in sort of mainstream media, I would say. So for me, this is kind of the first exposure in a fairly mainstream show to LGBT, LGBT
So you're saying
stuff.
it's more lesbianish than Orange is the New Black, or where are you going?
Well,
with
no, not more, but there's
And he
definitely.
wants you to describe it in great detail very slowly.
Well, I guess it's got. Okay, it's got gay, it's got lesbian, it's got trans, all on the same show.
But isn't that Game of Thrones? I mean, they have action figures that they're selling to kids right now. Don't they?
Okay,
This
see,
is
I
true.
haven't watched Game of Thrones since
What?
like partway through season 2.
No,
I
no,
know.
shush. Can you repeat that sentence? Just repeat that sentence just once. You have never seen what?
Not never. I got through what? I did season 1. I definitely did season 1, but
Look,
I can't tell you why, but I lost it.
hard to wade through for me. I mean, season 1. Let's be honest. The characterizations were so three-dimensional. You know, like Joffrey, you can really see that aside from being a villain, he's also next.
A total dick. No, I totally enjoyed it. I did. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy that show. Just for some reason, once season 1 was over, I kind of started watching other shit. I didn't really think about it. And I guess maybe what did turn me off was knowing that so many of the characters that you kind of get attached to end up just getting their throats slit, right? So it's like, fuck, come on. Yes, okay, I can handle some of that, right? But seriously, like, you're just mowing through the entire fucking cast here.
I have to ask you a very important question. When
Okay.
people got killed in season 1, did you cry?
I bawled like a fucking baby.
I have only really ever cried watching a movie while watching it for the first time. That was The Fox and the Hound by Disney in like 1981.
Wow.
I'm just pointing that out, and I will
No,
never
not
watch
even-
that movie.
You didn't even cry during watching E.T.?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
But-
yeah, me neither. I was a heartless son of a bitch.
I know, so did I. I'm glad the alien's leaving. Screw you, Elliot, you little spoiled bastard.
What about when Yoda died? What about when Yoda died? Come on.
No.
Whatever. I'm sorry. Yoda was a puppet during a film that featured a bunch of Muppets.
It wasn't
so-
real like E.T.
Yeah. What a jerk. He would never have died like I have to go get a refill.
Okay, here's a question for you. You started this off talking about Tusk and the fact that it was set in Manitoba, and so film, is part of the episode here. How many of you have seen a Guy Madden movie?
Who's that?
Yeah, thank you.
How
That's
many-
totally true.
how many of you-
You're gonna have to refresh my
How many of
brain.
you have seen Cronenberg stuff? You know David Cronenberg?
I've seen quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So think of Guy Madden in a way as sort of the the Cronenberg of Manitoba. So, like, place to start, let's say, yeah, Tales from Gimli Hospital, right?
Okay.
I don't know how available this stuff is these days, but like, if you're up for some brain twisting, oh my god, that was weird. I don't know quite what to make of that. That was, that was interesting. Not sure if I could answer whether it was good. If you want to have that experience, Guy Madden's your, he's
the guy that did.
your Manitoba go-to.
He did My Winnipeg, right? Because I seem to recall a theater production of that, which was based off of something else he did. I think it was a play. I think it was a play first.
Look, that sounds like him. Yeah.
I can't remember. It was at the Fringe a few years ago, and I seem to recall watching it.
Canadian film directors, I rate his shit. Maybe not quite as high as Cronenberg, but I'll tell you, it's a damn sight better than bloody Adam McGowan.
I don't know. The only thing I've ever really watched of Adam McGowan is, of Adam McGowan that I remember, is what is it called? It's called.
Already, it's sounding like an Adam McGowan movie.
Oh, the sweet hereafter. The sweet hereafter, because I mean that's really only it's kind of the only thing that he's known for, sort of on an that's not true, but on an international stage for, say, the general public of more than Canada. I think the Sweet Hereafter was kind of it, but almost not, because I seem to recall that it played really well in Canada, but not so well elsewhere. But I could be wrong. I mean, it's sort of strange. I mean, I guess filmmakers like Kevin Smith, for example, would actually know who the guy is. But
they're probably best buds.
Well, no, I'm just saying that he's a filmmaker. He probably is. He watches. I mean, he's talked about how he watches a lot of movies, so which is kind of his industry, so why not? But I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if Cronenberg is Guy Madden or vice versa, or does anybody really care?
Don't care.
If nobody's seen any of Guy Madden's stuff, then it's sort of hard to talk about. But
I think I've only seen the guy.
What I'm suggesting is that there are some pretty interesting filmmakers, that don't get as the sort of the focus that some of the others do. All right, let's move on.
What about Michael Bay? How do you feel about Michael Bay?
Yeah, I don't.
I try not to think of him.
To talk about there.
Well, actually, there's something interesting to talk about Michael Bay, mainly because he has such a unique style of
explosions.
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 I think I've seen a few things about. Granted, I'm sure the guy's a nice dude. I'm sure he's very talented, but he hasn't done anything that. This is the guy that did Armageddon, and then followed it up with Pearl Harbor. He tried, and he made Pearl Harbor as if it were supposed to be an action film. And granted, I only got about an hour through it, and then I decided that was enough. And
wasn't it up for Best Picture or something that year?
All I can say is, can you imagine if Oliver Stone had made fucking Pearl Harbor?
Granted, that would have been way better. As well, I remember looking this up at some point about Michael Bay. I don't know if that was 6 or so months ago, and a bunch of his films, the majority of his films, have never really rated that highly. They've made money, which is kind of the point, but as for critical sort of review, they haven't had a whole lot of. There has been a lot of sort of positive response. I'm sure they have their fan bases. Obviously, they've got. If they're making money, they must. But the only thing that Michael Bay has made that I kind of watched more than once is Bad Boys, which is that Will Smith
Yeah,
film with what's his face and Tia Leone. Who the hell's the other guy? The other actor?
some guy.
Will Smith, and he's a famous actor that I can't
He
think of.
actually
what
won
it
an
is.
Oscar.
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. Did he win an Oscar?
No, I think you're confusing Michael. Or well, actually, Jamie Foxx. I think.
Oh
is
yeah,
the
Jamie
guy who
Foxx.
won.
I was thinking of Jamie Foxx.
I mean, I don't want to rag on the guy, but you know, when you're making films that are quite popular, I guess you know what you really can do is just say, "Yeah, shut up."
Look, having been a programming director at a movie theater, actually having to do the negotiation to figure out how long the run is going to be for and what the percentage I'm taking is, I can tell you this: it's all about the marketing budget. Because you can have the best film that anybody's ever made, but if you don't have the marketing budget, nobody cares. Nobody's going to show up. Nobody will ever know, because that's not why people show up to movies. They show up to movies because of the marketing budget.
Yeah, I mean, you look at most films. I mean, I remember looking at the few times I've done this, and the reason is because I like it. But the film Serenity, when it came out, it was a film that supposedly, I guess, cost around $10 million, but the actual budget was 30, which kind of points out that 20 million of that went to marketing a $10 million film.
That's about right. Yeah, that's the proportion that I would expect. Yeah,
I mean, technically it was a low budget film, but you know, it was the first time that I sort of recognized, just being a film goer. I've never programmed a theater. I've never ever wanted to do that, but it was interesting just how much that was the first time I recognized how much money went into the marketing side of things. So, because we were paying attention about, being Firefly fans, you're sitting there going, my God, how much is Firefly going? How much do they need to make in order to make a sequel to it? Because at the time back in 2005, which I can't believe is 10 years ago, we were sitting there going, we would like more than one of these because that would be awesome. But again, it comes down to a lot of realities, and one of them is dough. So, did you place? When were you actually running the theater, doing the programming stuff for the theater? What year was that?
That would have been 2000 and I think it would have been 2001.
Oh, okay. So that was
maybe a little bit of 2002.
What was your biggest film when you were there?
Probably. Oh no, yeah, Blood Simple. The
Really?
re-release.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, re-release of Blood Simple was huge. My biggest coup, though, in terms of booking, for a good percentage of something that wasn't an expensive property, but it was going to raise everybody's eyebrows, is a thing called Baise-moi.
Baise-moi?
Yeah, in French it means rape me.
Oh, well, of course, you always want to have that.
It was made by two chicks from the porno industry in Europe. What it was a Thelma and Louise road movie with a lot of violence. And some gratuitous plumbing shots.
Gratuitous what?
Plumbing shots? You're not familiar with the term
plumbing shots. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
So like copper piping and toilets.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of. Oh, here we go.
I'm totally into that. Like
this,
drains
like this
and
pipe here, like this
yeah,
pipe. Is that what you're talking
PVC.
about? This PVC.
There you go.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah.
Few elbows. I'm all about the elbows.
What?
Have any of you guys seen Ginger Snaps?
Seen what?
Ginger Snaps.
No.
I haven't
Oh,
actually.
God.
I know the one you're talking about because it's had many sequels.
Yeah. Calgary, son of a bitch.
Really?
Guy got kicked out of ACAD's film program, and then went on and made, a successful horror franchise.
Wow. You know, I think I actually did see Ginger Snaps. Embarrassingly enough.
Wasn't Ginger Snaps like about zombies? Not zombies, vampires or something?
I would say it's the best. Well, okay, so top 3 werewolf movies. I'm going to say Ginger Snaps, The Howling, and American Werewolf in London.
Okay. I mean, I'm American Werewolf in London is kind of the one that I would always go to.
That's going to be number 1.
Yeah. What was this? What was the one just before that you mentioned?
The Howling.
The Howling. I've seen The Howling and The Howling 2 because I watched them at a birthday party many, many years ago. And what's interesting is that in The Howling 2, it had not Ian McKellen. Oh my God, what is his name? He just
Rory
passed
Calhoun.
away. No, not Rory Calhoun. No. Oh my God. Sauerman. The actor's name. Blanking. What is wrong with my head these days? I can't figure
The guy
it
that
out.
died?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. Thank you, Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee was in it, and it's a terrible, terrible set of films. But the only reason that I remember The Howling 2 specifically is the sex scene between 2 wolves. 2 wolves doing it as if they were humans, and which is very twisted to begin with. But it was the first time I ever recognized product placement in movies. And it was because these characters they had their first encounter, I think, with one of the werewolves or whatever, and they were trying to get away. They ran into some dude, insert character name here, who showed up in a car or truck or whatever. A truck, sorry. It was a truck because he turned to them and he said something very specific about this truck. He's like, "Oh, well, guys, if we have to get out of here, let's go get in my Toyota 4Runner blah Phantom 2. It's over there." He said the name very specifically for the product placement. And where normally the dialogue that I would have thought, like, quick, let's get in my truck and get out of here. That's what I would have expected. But it was the fact that he mentioned it by name. And you see it all over the place anyway. But it was the first time that I, as a young kid, was like, why did he mention the name of the truck and the manufacturer? Like, I was a babe in the woods, I guess, when it came to product placement. But very, very strange. Don't recommend the films at all, unless you want to be like me, where I'm very excited that in a couple of weeks, Sharknado 3, oh hell no, comes and hits the Sci-Fi Channel, which means it'll hit Netflix pretty soon afterwards. If you have not seen Sharknado or Sharknado 2, and you want to turn your brain off for a little while, those films fill the brain void, which is probably why I'm having trouble remembering names of famous actors today. Yeah, they are utterly brilliant films. Will Wheaton gets his head eaten off in the second one. What else happens? Sharks fall out of the sky.
Okay, I'd watch it for that.
How could that be wrong? Like, how could that be wrong? Nothing against Will Wheaton. It was just fun to see him in a film going, hey, there's Will Wheaton, and then next thing you know, he's dead. So, yeah, I gotta say, Sharknado 3, oh hell no, is coming out. And that's actually the tag title for it, is oh hell no. I don't know why I love those films so much. They're just so ridiculous. Probably I like them just as much as I like Iron Sky, or Iron Sky 2, which supposedly is coming out.
Out of curiosity, who made the Sharknado films? Is that an Asylum product, or is that somebody else?
I don't think it's Asylum. It could be. I haven't actually. I will look it up right now.
Right.
But Sharknado it's actually made for TV. But I have to say, anything made by Asylum, I would probably watch anyway. Sorry?
Sharknado, the TV series.
Holy cow! Okay, Frankie
Uh-huh.
Bunce is in it. David
Right.
Hasselhoff. Wow, there's a few bigger names in it. It's kind of amazing.
But yeah, Hasselhoff's already, he already did Piranha. Well, but then again, that might be why he would do it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I enjoyed Piranha 2, or not Piranha 2, Piranha 3, and then Piranha 3 Double D.
Wait.
Have you not seen Piranha 3 Double D?
I think I might have missed it.
Yeah,
no.
it's actually it's a direct sequel from the previous one, and it takes place in a water park. So like a water slide, pools, that kind of stuff. My favorite line from that film, which I'll always remember, and I really hope that I will find an appropriate time to use it. Whereas one character says, "Dad, are all of the lifeguards strippers?" And he goes, "First aid certified strippers." And then he does this. Stroke of genius. So I hope at some point that I'll be on stage somewhere going, I have an idea that is a stroke of genius. So probably never will happen, but I long for that day. Yeah, it's an absolutely forgettable, lame film, but I gotta say, hands down, again, it's one of those films that you go into knowing this is not Blade Runner. This is a film that is so far removed from Blade Runner that I'm going to have a good time anyway, because everything that happens in this film I won't care about. I'll just go, that was awesome. And that's it. That's all you really need. Entertainment.
Does anybody here remember Cameron's, like James Cameron's?
Piranha 2. Anybody?
James Cameron.
I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It was like James Cameron's film right before Terminator, and the first Terminator.
Yeah.
And it's
it was his first. That was him branching out from being essentially
art house or something.
Working effects for, I think, I can't remember, it was Carpenter or Did he work on the Thing? It was either Carpenter. I think, you know what? I think he worked for both Carpenter and Roger Corman, but you can check me on that. I don't know for sure.
I'd have to look it up. I'm actually kind of interested.
Roger Corman.
Yeah, no.
Corman, his stuff I fucking rate. Corman's stuff is good. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like to loop it back to like Kevin Smith. I mean, you look at Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith did his own thing, and then later on started directing other people's scripts, where most filmmakers do the opposite, which is what James Cameron did. He directed some other people's scripts, whether they were shitty or not, didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But then, of course, it got him into doing his own thing. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's actually very interesting. I mean, that's the one thing I like about that attracts me to film and Hollywood is not necessarily the Bennifer complex, like that kind of stuff that goes on. I kind of like watching actors, specifically actors, but more writers actually, sort of see what kind of stuff they do, and sort of where they start and kind of where they get to, which is fascinating to me. And if it's actually about actors for me, if I actually want to follow what an actor is doing, it tends to be actors that I've actually met that are Canadian, which is weird, because I've only met like 3 or 4. And it was basically, I mean, I met the dude who played the sniper in Saving Private Ryan, whose name at the moment escapes me. Ben something. Ben? Anyway, whatever. Anyway, he became well known for Saving Private Ryan. I saw him the summer after that film came out in Coombs. I was up there with my girlfriend at the time. We were off camping. And I was at the Coombs thing with the goats on the roof. You guys have been there, yeah, I'm assuming? Yes. And I was sitting there at the deli aisle looking at the different salamis because I was going to buy some meat to take back to the campsite. And this guy standing beside me goes, I'm not sure if I want the whatever the hell what he mentioned, but I think maybe the other thing. And I turned to him and I go, yeah, I think that blah, 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 whatever the hell it was. And I turned back, and I remember looking at the meat, going, "You fucking know that guy? Why do you know that guy?" And I look at him again, and I'm like, "No, I don't know him. Why do I think I know him? I can't figure it out." It took me until I got to the parking lot to realize who it was, because he was outside the parking lot talking to somebody, and I was like, "Dude, I like what you do," and he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." But it was kind of interesting, just ever since then, I'm like, that guy's going places, and sure enough, he's gone and done a whole bunch of things. Probably not as much as he should. Barry Pepper, thank you, that's the guy. Brilliant guy. Talked to him for like 20 minutes about salami at a deli aisle. So there you go.
20 minutes, really?
It was about that. Well, we were waiting in line for the service people to.
But for 20 minutes? I mean, that's shitty service.
It gets fucking busy in there.
I know it's Coombs. I know it gets busy, but 20 minutes is brutal.
All right,
I would
I'm
lodge
call
a
it right
complaint.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, Combs? Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast now talking about your service. Yeah. Yeah, I got to talk about a time I was there back in 1999. I want to rip into somebody. Yeah, it was July 1999. Yeah. Are they still there? I want to talk to them immediately.
Yeah, all right.
There, okay, I ripped into them for you, man.
Awesome.
I actually had a guy get all pitsy
that would be
today,
a
and
great
he
movie.
buggered off really fast.
Could you imagine like complaining about customer service you had like 20 years ago? Yeah, I want to talk to like Jim. Yeah, it was 1987. You know.
No. I like where you're going with that, because there's something willful and obnoxious about following up on something like that, like really aggressively. 20 years later, that sounds like fun. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm going to start writing the script right now. We're going to have our own Kevin Smith moment.
No.
20 years bad service. Sorry, keep going. Elaborate on your thought there.
But I mean, the detective work involved in finding out who was responsible, especially in the case of businesses that are now out of business and have closed. I mean, what I see is a documentary TV series about is there, and my philosophy has always been there isn't, but what if there is? Is there a complaints department? Let's find these people. Let's tell them what we think. I'm mad. My sandwich had too little mustard. I know it's 20 years later. I know we stalked you from your job at the deli that you worked at 20 years ago, and now you're a lawyer, but not enough mustard. Not enough. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, not enough mustard. When you don't have enough mustard, sandwich doesn't.
I've bought sandwiches from Subway, which I would say are not a work of art. The sandwich artist
we're taking
there,
them to court now.
I mean, do they sign it? Do they sign their work of art in like mustard? No, it's not art.
But okay, so does a work of art have to be signed for it to be a work of art?
Ooh, well, I gotta call bullshit on Leonardo da Vinci then. I don't recall him signing much. Maybe some stuff on paper, but he did a lot more.
Okay, so what about any musician ever in the history of mankind?
I demand that this real original thing written by any band member attached to Nirvana should have been signed. It's no longer art.
All right.
How to confuse an audience in one easy sentence.
Wow. Hey, what's our time at?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are we done yet? So, Locke, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, I think that there's probably a timeout on this, so it probably wouldn't work. But Duchamp's, what was it, In Aid of a Broken Arm? The found object where he just presented a shovel. The shovel manufacturer should sue Duchamp's estate for copyright or trademark infringement or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that was ours.
I fully support that plan.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's do it. Let's
you.
do it. Let's put this together.
So, on that note, I know that we are over time. I have tracked it very poorly. I'm actually looking at it right now, and I am afraid to tell you how long it's been. But I want to.
What percent?
8 point something.
8.2. He said it was going to be a good show.
It is a good show.
By that I meant long show.
So,
sounded to me like Shane got a pretty solid head start too.
What? What? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. No, I would never do that. I wouldn't want to drink beer either. So, well, I want to thank everybody for listening and watching and checking this out. We are doing this for the love of beer drinking, and we're also Canadian, so hell, what the hell. I want to thank Locke. Is it Locke? Locke for giving us the suggestion of the Parallel 49 Imperial IPA Corn Hops, because I think this is probably the best beer that we have reviewed so far. I do recommend it. I think that it's also a seasonal, so get it in the summer, and you probably will miss it in the fall. But it's very tasty. It tastes nothing like corn, but it is an Imperial IPA, which is very cool. I've had a few. Locke has introduced me definitely to a bunch, and I've loved them all. This one, I gotta say, because it's a bit lighter, it's not a dark, which I've seen a few dark ones of this particular Imperial IPA sort of world, but this one is lighter, and I like it a bit better. The alcohol content, definitely a plus if you want to have one beer and no more. Any other final words on this beer for the evening, guys?
I think it's excellent if you want to have 5 beers and no more. But,
well, that's true. That's true. I'm trying to be responsible.
Yeah, I don't have to drive.
I would say that this beer, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's the best beer that we've reviewed in our 21 episodes, but it is pretty good. I'd rank it probably in the top 5.
Cool, Dave.
I liked it. I did. It's a little bitter, but you guys know me. I'm not an IPA guy, right? So, but having said that, I did enjoy it. I think it is quite a solid beer, but I would agree with Alan. It's not one of the best. One of my favorites, let's say.
Oh,
my favorite actually was another one that Locke suggested, which is the Duchesse de Bourgogne.
Mm.
Yes, which
that
I've
one
had a few
I
of,
think is my personal favorite that we've done.
Really?
So good.
All right. Well, I think that at episode 50 we'll do a review of all the beers that we have had. Episode 50 will be our look back at our first 50 or 49 episodes and all of the 49 beers. That actually it's probably more than that because we've had a few episodes that we have actually reviewed more than one beer because that's how we roll. So, Alan, starting with you, sir, when people want to find you online, which, of course, there is a link in the description as well as a link in our blog post, but do tell people where they can find you online.
Well, they can go to www.twitter.com. They can arrange to become a member of that site and develop their own Twitter handle. And then they can find me. I'm at, that's a little A with the circle thing.
Okay?
And then you put in my name, which is Alan, A-L-A-N, M, because that's my middle initial, although I won't tell you what it stands for, Milton, and then my last name, which is Ford, F-O-R-D. It's on a lot of cars out there. There's like a whole bunch of like vehicles with that name on it for some reason.
You're shitting me. You're shitting me.
No.
There's a brand maker called Ford? Really?
I know, right?
I've never heard of this brand.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So you can find me doing that.
What about you there, Dave, Mr. Dude hiding out in the deep darkness known as the Comox Valley? You're a little north of that valley.
Also, on the Twitters, at, what am I, the Fool. So, the Phule. That's my handle. Or whatever the kids are calling that these days.
You have one follower, Dave.
Woo! And it's you.
No, it's actually not. That's the scary part. Do you know somebody
That
named?
is scary.
Do you know somebody named Adam Howitt?
Adam Howitt? No,
Is that-
that's ringing 0 bells.
Well, Adam Howitt joined in March of 2007. He's currently a gentleman who has not tweeted since 2013. He does have 486 followers and is also a member of 2 favorites lists. Know very little about him other than that, and that his iPhone currently is registering a location of this, and I'm going to search it right now. He's in Chicago, Illinois. So currently near Wrigley Field.
Dave,
Okay,
if
that's kind of frightening.
Dave, if you're ever in Chicago,
Yes, I will.
look this guy up, and maybe you've got a couch to sleep on.
That's true. You'd be like, dude, you
There
follow
you go.
me, and I need to crash on your couch. So I want to have a shout out to one of our favorite followers is Adam Howitt, a man that we do know nothing about, who currently lives in Chicago, but hasn't tweeted since November 11th of 2013. So he obviously does not understand the power of Twitter, but for some reason loves Dave. And Locke, how's it going, man?
So all of those who are fascinated by the data putrefaction within the crucible of that early branch off that world tree of the internet, MySpace, who want to see what the level of MySpace's maintenance of the data within their service looks like after, say, roughly a decade, without any interference. Take a look at Locke Fulton at MySpace.com and
Whoa.
enjoy the glitchy of it all. Or check out my metal band, Martin Fulton Overkill. Again, MySpace. Horns up, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Awesome.
I was actually going to do a shout out for your band. However, I can't ignore the fact that I need to do a shout out for a new band called Quarterback, who'll be releasing some tracks sometime this summer. Which, by the way, Locke, I did some recording last night.
Sweet.
So there we go. And Locke, on Twitter, you've got 46 followers. That is pretty awesome, dude. And Alan M. Ford rocking in at 147 followers. I gotta say, that's fucking awesome. And
Considering I don't really do anything with it.
Well, I'm gonna actually search now for the Crafty Boys because I want to see how many followers the Crafty Boys Twitter account currently has. And drum roll, please, Alan.
Oh yeah, I got that here. Just a second.
A whopping 2 followers. Yeah.
Woo!
So I gotta say that I have to give a shout out to those 2 followers, Alan Ford. Alan, thank you so much for following us.
No problem.
I should be following it.
And for some reason, Yamasaki Motorcycle, Melody Tong, thank you for following the Crafty Boys.
Yeah,
I want to give you a round of making our day for being our first official follower. I don't know who this person is. Any idea, people? No?
No, not a clue.
None.
All right, well, I got to say, I am now in love with Melody, who apparently, according to her Twitter account, is a model working out of Shangzhou, China. So
Nice.
thank you again, Melody, for
Whoa.
checking us out. I suspect
Maybe we can get her a guest spot.
I suspect that this account is most likely a bot, but that's okay because I don't care.
Shane, how come you're not following the Crafty Boys?
Am I not following Crafty? Really? Oh, I am now. I am now 3 followers. Woo!
3 followers. Yay!
I gotta say, I am completely intrigued by a Chinese biker babe. If she's the real deal, that's trippy.
If she is the real deal, that is kind of cool because now we have 3 followers. And by the way, Dave, you now have 2 followers. So
All right.
I don't know why. See, actually, and I'm going to point this out. Twitter, from time to time, will actually drop you from following other people for no reason that I can discern, because I know damn well that I was following you, Dave. So I was a little surprised when I did look at your account that I wasn't. So I've just refollowed you. But just to point that out, sometimes that happens. It's some purging they do of fake accounts. Sometimes you get lost in the shuffle. So who am I? Oh, and of course you can follow me at twitter.com/Shane B. That's Shane double B, double B? No, Shane B double E. What is in this beer? Oh right,
As
alcohol.
another slam.
And I will not tell you what my number of followers is because I don't know why. I do. My beer just left my desk. Hey, come here. Come here, you. Come here, you. Allison has seized my glass. You can actually take that if you want. It's quite an enjoyable beer.
Yes.
Because I've had quite a bit of it, and apparently I need to stop. If you want to follow Allison, she, of course, is twitter.com/Allison McGrane, McGrane. Not that she's in the show at all, but we give our shout out to our supporters who allow us to actually do this at night. I have nothing else. So that's all. If you guys want to follow, of course, we are on Twitter at the Crafty Boys, and our website, of course, is thecraftyboys.ca. And all of those links, by the way, are in the description below, which, of course, you will be able to see once you see this video. And
Okay,
Wow.
it's time to turn it off.
I think it's time to shut this off. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll learn to talk by next week.
Bye.
Very much.